We're recording. Hello, everybody. Now and in the future, we are Miscreant Theatre Collective doing Zoom reading series in week 1741 of this terrific quarantine that is not getting fixed because our government is terrible. Today we're reading a wonderful play by the American playwright A.R. Gurney. It was first produced or premiered in 1982, and I believe it is Somebody Come Quick, There's Wasps in the Dining Room. Thank you, Andy. Okay. Also known as Dinah's in the Dining Room with Standish, with Sandra, with father, Michael Brewster, grandfather. Someone's in the dining room with a lot of people. Yeah, this play is fun. My name's Doron, part of the collective. Today I'll be reading for Actors 3, which is just an innumerable amount of characters, and they're mostly named, so I'm really not going to go through and name them all. I don't think we have to. If you want to, feel free. You can. No pressure, but I'm not going to. The rest of the people here are going to name themselves and who they are reading for, at least if you are reading. If you're not reading, you can chime in if you want, but we'll probably blow right over you. Yeah, I don't know the way to do this best. Whoever wants to go next, go next.
All right, I'm Erin. I'm reading for Actress 2, also a member of the collective. I like it when we do the shotgun style. Somebody speak up. Who's going to talk next?
I'll go.
Way to introduce.
I'll go. Hi, I'm Sam. I'm playing Actor 1. I played Actress 2 yesterday. I will be Father Michael Brewster, Grandfather Stuart, Gordon, David, and Harvey. That's it.
Stuart Gordon, the legendary film director?
Sure. And Harvey. So, yeah, that'll be fun.
All right. I am Thomas Gerlick. I'm a member of the collective. I'm going to be playing the third actor, which is Arthur Boy Architects, Billy, Nick, Fred, Tony Standish, and guest who doesn't speak. And I just noticed that I'm playing Actor 3 like 2 minutes ago, because I don't pay attention to things. Oh, and I'm also reading stage directions.
Lit.
So, well, I'm Sadie, and I'm playing Actress 1, which means I'm reading for Agent, Mother, Carolyn, Sandra, Dora, Marjorie, Beth, Kate, Claire, and Ruth.
Excellent. I am Andy. I'm a member of the collective. I'll be reading for second actor, which will be Client, Howard, Psychiatrist, Ted, Paul, Ben, Chris, Jim, Dick, and guest.
Dick.
Richard. Cool. Well, yeah, whenever you want to start, Tom, we'll begin with some stage directions at the start of the show, and then you'll get started the show.
That was my kid voice yesterday. Act 1. No one on stage. The dining room furniture sparkles in the early morning light. Voices from off right. Then a woman, real estate agent, and her male client appear in the doorway. Both wear raincoats.
And the dining room.
Oh boy.
You see how these rooms were designed to catch the early morning light?
I'll say.
French doors, lovely garden, flowering crowds. Do you like gardening?
I used to.
Oh, imagine having a long, leisurely breakfast in here.
As opposed to instant coffee on Eastern Airlines.
Exactly. You know, this is a room after my own heart. I grew up in a dining room just like this. Same sort of furniture, everything.
So did I.
Then here we are. Welcome home.
What are they asking again?
Oh, they make an offer. I think they'll come down.
Trouble is, we'll never use this room.
Oh, now.
We won't. The last 2 houses we lived in, my wife used the dining room table to sort the laundry.
Oh, dear.
Maybe you'd better show me something more contemporary.
That means something farther out. How long have we got to find you a home?
1 day.
And how long will the corporation keep you here after you've found it?
6 months to a year.
Oh. Oh, then definitely we should look farther out. Well, you can look at the kitchen as we leave.
You shouldn't have shown this to me first.
I thought it was something to go by.
You've spoiled everything else.
Oh, no. We'll find you something if we've got all day. But wasn't it a lovely room?
Let's go or I'll buy it.
They both exit through the kitchen door as a brother comes in from the hall, followed by his sister. Both are middle-aged. His name is Arthur, hers is Sally. The dining room.
Yes.
Notice how we gravitate right to this room.
Yeah, I know it.
Your mother doesn't want this stuff in Florida.
She hardly has room for what she's got. You know, she wants us to take turns without fighting.
We'll just have to draw lots then.
Well, unless, you know, one of us wants something and one of us doesn't.
We have to do it today.
Do you think that's enough time to divide up a whole house?
I have to go. I have to get back, Sal. He looks at the sideboard. We'll draw lots and then we'll go through the rooms taking turns. He brings out a silver spoon. Here. We'll use the salt spoon. He shifts it from one hand to the other, behind his back, and holds it out, 2 fists. Take your pick. You get the spoon, you get the dining room.
You mean you want to start here?
Gotta start somewhere. Sally looks at his fists. Annie, a maid, comes out from the kitchen to set the table for breakfast. She sets a placemat at either end and 2 coffee cups with saucers. Sally and Arthur take no notice of her, and Annie leaves.
You mean you want the dining room?
Yeah,
What happened to the stuff you had?
Jane took it. It was part of the settlement.
Well, if you win, where will you put it?
That's my problem, Sal.
I thought you had a tiny apartment.
I'll find a place.
I mean, your children won't want it.
Probably not.
Then where on earth are you?
Come on, Sal, choose. He holds out his fist again. She starts to choose. Annie comes in from the kitchen, bringing in the morning paper. She puts it at the head of the table as Arthur lowers his hands. You don't want it.
Of course I want it.
I mean, you have already got a perfectly good dining room.
Well, not as good as this.
You mean you want 2 dining rooms?
I'd give our old stuff to Debbie.
Debbie?
She's our oldest child.
Does Debbie want a dining room?
She might.
In a condominium?
She might.
In Denver?
She just might, Arthur.
A father comes in from the right. He settles comfortably at the head of the table, unfolds his newspaper importantly. Arthur, shoveling the spoon behind his back again, then holding out his fist. I don't want to fight. Which hand? Sally starts to choose, then stops.
Are you planning to put it in storage?
I might.
I checked on that, and that costs an arm and a leg.
So does shipping to Denver. He holds out his fists. Father, calling to kitchen.
Good morning, Annie.
Sally, almost picking a hand, then stopping.
I know what will happen if you win.
What?
Well, you'll end up selling it.
Selling it?
That's what will happen. It will kick around for a while, and you'll end up calling a furniture dealer.
Annie comes out with a small glass of orange juice on a tray. Oh, I'm absolutely amazed you'd say that.
I don't want to fight, Arthur.
Neither do I. Maybe we should defer the dining room. He starts to the door. Right. Sally, following him.
Maybe we should.
Good morning, sir.
Sorry, I was muted. Good morning, Annie.
Selling the dining room, is that what you told Mother I'd do?
I told her I'd give you the piano if I can have the dining room.
I'll be lucky if I keep the spoon.
I'll give you the piano and the coffee table if I can have the dining room.
Arthur and Sally exit into the hall.
Annie,
Annie is almost to the kitchen door.
Yes, sir.
did I find a seed in my orange juice yesterday morning?
I strained it, sir.
I'm sure you did, Annie. Nonetheless, I think I may have detected a small seed.
I'll strain it twice, sir.
Seeds can wreak havoc with the digestion, Annie.
Yes, sir.
They can take root and grow.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry, sir.
Annie goes out. Father drinks his orange juice carefully and reads the newspaper. The little girl sticks her head through the dining room door.
Daddy?
Yes, good morning, Lizzie Boo.
Daddy, can Charlie and me...
Charlie and I.
Charlie and I come out and sit with you while you have breakfast?
You certainly may, Lizkins. I'll be delighted to have the pleasure of your company provided.
Yippee!
I said provided you sit quietly without leaning back in your chairs and don't fight or argue.
He says we can!
I said you may, sweetheart.
The girl comes out adoringly, followed by a little boy.
Good morning, Daddy.
Morning, Dad. They settle into their seats. Annie brings out the father's breakfast.
Here's your cream, sir.
Thank you, Annie.
You're welcome, sir.
Annie goes out. The children watch their father. Dad,
Hmm.
when we go out to have the fresh cream on our... when do we get to have the fresh cream on our shredded wheat?
When we grow up, that's when.
I'll tell you one thing. If there's a war, no one gets cream. If there's a war, well, I'll have to settle for the top of the bottle.
Mother said she was thinking about having us eat dinner in here with you every night.
Yes, your mother and I were both thinking about that. We're both looking forward to it as soon as our children learn to sit up straight. Then I see no reason why we shouldn't all have the pleasant meal together every evening.
Could we try it tonight, Dad? Could you give us a test?
No, Charlie, not tonight, because tonight we're giving a small dinner party. But I hope very much you and Liz will come down and shake hands.
I get so shy, Dad.
Well, you must have to learn, sweetie pie. Half of life is learning to meet people.
What's the other half, Dad? Pause. The father fixes him with a steely gaze.
Was that a crack?
No, Dad.
That was a crack, wasn't it?
No, Dad, really.
That sounded very much like a smart guy wise crack to me. And people who make cracks like that don't normally eat in dining rooms.
I didn't mean it as a crack, Dad.
Then we'll ignore it. We'll go on with our breakfast.
He comes in.
Your car's here, Lizzie, for school.
Okay.
Thank you, Annie.
Thank you, Annie.
Kiss the father.
Goodbye, Daddy.
Goodbye, darling. Don't be late. Say good morning to the driver. Sit quietly in the car. Work hard. Run. Goodbye.
Girl goes off. Father returns to his paper. Pause. Boy sits watching his father. Dad, can I read the funnies?
Certainly you may.
He carefully extracts the second section and hands it to his son. Both read, the son trying to imitate the father in how he does it. Finally,
This won't mean much to you, but the government is systematically ruining this country.
Miss Kelly told us about the government.
Oh, really? And who is Miss Kelly, pray tell?
She's my teacher.
I don't remember any Miss Kelly.
She's new, Dad.
I see. And what has she been telling you?
She said there's a depression going on.
I see.
People all over the country are standing in line for bread.
I see.
So the government has to step in and do something.
Annie.
Coming out of the kitchen,
Yes, sir.
I'd very much like some more coffee, please.
Yes, sir.
You tell Miss Kelly she's wrong.
why?
Well, I'll tell you exactly why. If the government keeps on handing out money, no one will want to work. And if no one wants to work, there won't be anyone around to support such things as private school. And no one is supporting private schools, then Miss Kelly will be standing on the bread lines along with everyone else. You tell Miss Kelly that, if you please.
Annie comes in and pours coffee.
Thank you, Annie.
Father returns to his paper. Annie has retreated to the kitchen. Boy reads his funnies for a moment. Dad, could we leave a little earlier today?
We'll leave when we always leave.
But I'm always late, Dad.
Nonsense.
I am, Dad. Yesterday we had to walk into assembly while they were still singing the hymn.
You can tell everyone to concentrate on that hymn.
I
Nope.
can't,
I'm
Dad.
never too late. It's that new stoplight on Richmond Avenue. It affects our timing.
Not just the new stoplight, Dad. Sometimes I come in when they're already doing arithmetic. Miss Kelly says I should learn to be punctual.
Miss Kelly again, eh?
She said if everyone is late, no one would learn any mathematics.
Now you listen to me, Charlie. Miss Kelly may be an excellent teacher. Her factoring may be flawless. Her geography beyond question. But Miss Kelly does not teach us politics, nor does she teach us how to run our lives. She's not going to tell you or me to leave in the middle of a pleasant breakfast and get caught in the bulk of morning traffic just so you can arrive in time for a silly hymn. Long after you've forgotten that hymn, long after you've forgotten how to factor, long after you've forgotten Miss Kelly, you'll remember these pleasant breakfasts around this dining room table. And
Mother glides into the room from the right.
And here is your mother to prove it.
Good morning, dear.
Kissing Charlie.
Good morning, Charlie.
I know people who leap to their feet when a beautiful woman enters the room.
Oh,
Charlie
that's
jumps
all
up.
right, dear.
I also know people who rush to push in their mother's chair.
Charlie does so.
Thank you, dear.
And finally, I know people who are quick to give their mother the second section of the morning paper.
Oh, here, Mom.
Thank you, dear.
Now, Charlie, take a moment, if you would, just to look at your lovely mother bathed in the morning sunlight and reflected in the dining room table.
Oh, Russell.
Charlie looks at his mother.
Look at her, Charlie, then ask yourself carefully which is worth our immediate attention, your mother or Miss Kelly?
Oh, who is Miss Kelly?
Never mind, dear. Which Charlie?
My mother.
Good, Charlie. Fine.
He gets up, taking his section of the paper.
And now I think you and I should make our trip upstairs before we say goodbye and our way out.
Mother smiles sweetly. Father and son leave the room. Annie enters, carrying coffee server.
Good morning, Annie.
Good morning, miss.
Tell Irma I'll have poached eggs this morning, please, Annie.
Yes, miss.
Mother sits sipping coffee, reading her section of the paper. A youngish woman, call her Ellie, comes out of the kitchen. Her arms are stacked with a small portable typewriter, papers, several books, and notebooks. She finds a place at the table and begins to spread things out around her. Mother pays no attention to her. A man called Howard, carrying a briefcase, appears at right.
Hey,
Oops, I thought you'd had gone.
I forgot my briefcase. What's going on?
Well, I have to get this term paper done.
In here?
Oh, where else?
You're going to type?
Of course I'm going to type.
In here? At that table?
Oh, why not?
You're not going to sit there banging a typewriter on my family's dining room table.
Why not?
Because it wasn't designed for it, that's why.
Oh, Howard.
Lucky I came back. Next thing you know, you'll be feeding the dog off our low-straw china.
It's got rubber pads underneath it. I checked.
Gets up, goes to the sideboard.
And I'll get something else if you want.
She takes a couple of takes out a couple of placemats.
You're not going to use those placemats.
I thought I would, yes.
Those are good placemats.
We haven't used them in 10 years.
Those are extremely good placemats, Ellie. Mother got those in Italy.
All right.
She puts the placemats back in the sideboard, rummages around, finds a couple of hot pads. She watches her carefully.
I'll use these then. Do you mind if I use these? We put pots on them. We can certainly put a typewriter.
She carries them to the table, puts them under the typewriter, continues to set things up. Howard watches. Meanwhile, Mother, impatient for her poached eggs, puts down her paper and rings a little silver bell on the table in front of her. Annie comes out of the kitchen.
Yes, miss?
I wonder if anything might have happened to my poached eggs, Annie.
Irma's cooking 2 more, miss.
2 more?
The first one slid off the plate while she was buttering the toast.
Is she drinking again, Annie?
No, miss.
Tell me the truth.
I don't think so, miss.
I'd better go see. A simple question of 2 poached eggs. Honestly, Annie, sometimes I think it's almost better if we just do things ourselves.
Yes, miss.
Mother goes out into the kitchen. Annie clears the mother's and father's places, leaving a glass and plate for the next scene. Ellie to Howard, who is standing in the doorway, still watching.
Don't you have a plane to catch? It's kind of hard to work, when your husband is hovering over you like a helicopter.
Well, it's kind of hard to leave when your wife is systematically mutilating the dining room table.
I'll be careful, Howard, I swear. Now, goodbye.
She begins to hunt and peck on the typewriter. Howard starts out and then stops.
Couldn't you please work somewhere else?
I'd like to know where, please.
What's wrong with the kitchen table?
It doesn't work, Howard. Last time the kids got peanut butter all over my footnotes.
I'll set up the bridge table in the living room.
I just have to move whenever you and the boys wanted to watch a football game.
You mean you were going to leave all that stuff here?
Yeah, I thought I would, yes.
All that shit? All over the dining room?
It's a term paper, Howard. It's crucial for my degree.
You mean you're going to commandeer the dining room for the rest of the term?
It just sits here, Howard. It's never used.
What if we want to give a dinner party?
Since when have we given a dinner party?
What if we want to have a few people over, for Christ's sake?
We can eat in the kitchen.
Oh, Jesus.
Everybody does these days.
That doesn't make it right.
Just let me get this done, Howard. Let me get a good grade and my master's degree and a good job so I can be out of here every day.
Fine. What the hell? Then why don't I turn it into a tool room every night?
He storms out. Ellie doggedly returns to her work, angrily hunting and pecking on the typewriter. Grace enters from the right. She sits down, left, and begins to work on her grocery list. Carolyn, a girl of 14, enters sleepily a moment later.
Why did you tell Mildred to wake me up, Mother?
Let me just finish this grocery list.
You mean it's Saturday, Mother?
Shh. There. I know it's Saturday, darling, and I apologize, but something has come up, and I want you to make a little decision.
What decision?
We'll start your breakfast, dear. No one can think on an empty stomach.
Carolyn sits at the table.
Now, guess who telephoned this morning?
Who?
Your Aunt Martha.
Oh, I love her.
So do I. But the poor thing hasn't got enough to do to leave on the telephone at the crack of dawn.
What do you want?
Well, now, here's the thing. She's got an extra ticket for the theater tonight, and she wants you to join her.
Sure.
Now, wait till I finish, dear. I told her it was your decision, of course, but I thought you had other plans.
What other plans?
Now think, darling. Isn't there something rather special going on in your life this evening?
Oh,
Am I right, or am I right?
dancing school.
She begins to gather up her materials.
Not dancing school, sweetheart. The first session of the junior assemblies, which are a big step beyond dancing school.
I can't work in this place. It's like a tomb.
She goes out into the kitchen.
I told Aunt Martha you'd call her right back so she could drum up someone else.
Well, I thought it was my decision.
It is, sweetheart, of course.
Then I'd like to see a play with Aunt Martha.
Carolyn, I wonder if you're being just a little impulsive this morning. You don't even know what the play is.
Well, what is it then?
Well, it just happens to be a very talky play called Saint Joan.
Oh, we read that at school. I want to go all the more.
It's the road company, sweetheart. It doesn't even have Catherine Cornell.
I'd still like to go.
To some endless play with your maiden aunt.
She's my favorite person.
Well, then go if it's that important to you.
I'll call her right now.
He starts for the door.
Carolyn, you realize, of course, that on the first junior assembly, everyone gets acquainted.
Really?
Oh, heavens, yes. It starts the whole thing off on the right foot.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yes. It's like the first day of school. Once you miss, you never catch up.
Oh, gosh.
You see? You see why we shouldn't make hasty decisions.
Then maybe I won't go at all.
What do you mean?
Maybe I'll skip all the junior assemblies.
Oh, Carolyn.
I don't like dancing school anyway.
Don't be silly.
I don't. I've never liked it. I'm bigger than half of the boys, and I never know what to say, and I'm a terrible dancer. Last year, I spent half the time in the ladies' room.
That's nonsense.
It's true, Mother. I hate dancing school. I don't know why I have to go. St. Joan wouldn't go to dancing school in a million years.
Yes, and look what happened to St. Joan.
I don't care. I've made up my mind.
Your Aunt Martha seems to have caused a little trouble around here this morning.
I'm glad she did.
Your Aunt Martha seems to have opened up a whole can of worms.
I'm glad she did.
All right. And how do you propose to spend your other Saturday nights? I mean, when there's no Aunt Martha and no St. Joan, and all of your friends are having the time of their lives at junior assemblies.
I'll do something.
Such as what? Hanging around here? Listening to that stupid hit parade? Bothering the maids when they're planning to have a party?
Aggie, a maid, comes out of the kitchen, sits at the table, begins to polish some flat silver with a silver cloth.
I'll do something, Mother.
Grace, picking up Carolyn's breakfast dishes.
Well, you're obviously not old enough to make an intelligent decision.
I knew you wouldn't let me decide.
All right then, decide.
I would like to go.
Now let me tell you a very short story before you do, about your dear Aunt Martha, who also made a little decision when she was about your age. She decided, if you breathe a word of this, I'll strangle you. She decided she was in love with her writing master. And so she threw away everything and ran off with him to Taos, New Mexico, where your father had to track her down and drag her back. But it was too late, Carolyn. She had been overstimulated. And from then on, she refused to join the workaday world. Now there it is, in a nutshell. So think about it while I'm ordering the groceries and decide.
She goes out, carrying Carolyn's glass and plate. Aggie polishes the silver. Carolyn sits and thinks. She decides.
I've decided, Mother.
Good. I hope you've come to your senses.
I've decided to talk to Aunt Martha.
She goes out. Grace, bursting through the kitchen door.
You've got a dentist appointment, Carolyn. You've got writing lessons at noon, so no. We'll skip the writing lessons, but Carolyn! Carolyn!
She rushes through the hall as Michael comes through the kitchen. He is about 12.
Oh, Michael, you scared me out of my skin.
I wanted to.
He comes a little closer into the room. Aggie returns to her polishing.
Your mother said you were sick this morning.
I was. I am.
So sick that you couldn't go to school.
I am, Aggie. I upchucked twice.
Well, then you get right back to bed.
He doesn't.
How come you didn't do my room yet?
Because I thought you were sleeping.
I was just lying there, waiting.
Well, I've got more to do now since Ida left. I'll get the silver and downstairs lavatory and all the beds dished besides.
He comes further in.
My mother says you want to leave us.
When did she say that?
Last Thursday on your day off, when she was cooking dinner, she said now there's a war. You're looking for a job with more money. Is that true, Ag?
Maybe.
Money isn't everything, Aggie.
Yeah, listen to him now.
You can't be rich as a king and still be miserable. Look at my Uncle Paul. He is rich as crozes, and yet he's drinking himself to oblivion.
What do you know about all that?
I know a lot. I eat dinner here in the dining room now. I listen, and I know that my Uncle Paul is drinking himself to oblivion, and Miss Williams has a tipped uterus.
Now, you stop that talk.
Well, it is true, Ag, and it proves that money isn't everything. So you don't have to leave us.
She works. He drifts around the table.
It's not just the money, darling.
Then what, Ag? Don't you like us anymore?
Oh, Michael.
Don't you like our family?
Mikey.
Are you still mad at me for peeking at you in the bathtub?
That's enough now.
Then what is it, Ag? How come you're just leaving?
Well, because I don't... I don't want to do domestic service no more.
Why?
Because I don't like it no more, Mike.
That's because Ida left and you have too much to do, Ag.
No, darling.
I'll help you, Ag. I swear I'll make my own bed and pick up my own towel. I'll try to be much more careful when I pee.
Lord love you, lad.
No, really, I will, and I'll tell my parents not to have so many dinner parties. Ag, I'll tell them to give you some more time off. I'll tell them to give you all day Sunday.
No, darling, no.
I'm serious, Ag.
I know, darling, I know.
Two men coming from the right, an architect and a prospective buyer. Okay, let's measure it out then. The architect has a real tape measure and a roll of blueprints that begin to measure the room systematically. The architect reading the figures and recording them in a small notebook. The buyer holding the end of the tape.
When will you be going then, Ag?
As soon as your mother finds someone else.
He can't find anyone, Aggie.
She will. She will.
She says she can't. They keep showing up with dirty fingernails and dyed hair.
Reading measurements, writing them down. 22 feet, 6 inches. This is...
Sorry, I think this might be me, and that doesn't say.
Yeah, this is Michael. Buyer is Michael. Or not Michael, but
Psychiatrist?
yes, it's psychiatrist.
Okay, apologies. Fine room.
Big room.
So you got to stay, Ag. You can't just leave people on the lurch.
Look at these French doors.
I'm looking. I'm also thinking about that heat loss. They measure more. Just suppose we started with a clean slate. Suppose we open up this here, slam a beam in here, break on through here, blast this out, throw that out. What do we have?
I'm not quite sure.
We don't have a dining room no more. That's what we don't have.
But where would we eat?
Right here. Right here. Look, I'm putting an eating area. Here's the fridge, cooking units, Cuisinart, butcher block, chrome, chairs. See? Look at all that space. The flow. Wife cooks, sets the table. You stack them dishes. All right, here. Democracy at work in your own home. Now let's review your day. You come home to breakfast. Everyone's fixing his or her own thing. He goes through the hall, reappears through the kitchen door. Eggs, cornflakes, Pop-Tarts, whatever. You eat, chat, read the paper, say goodbye. Come in here to do work. You have a nurse or a receptionist.
No. I'm just a humble shrink.
Architect beginning to move around the room. Well, you come in here to the reception room, maybe just a magazine on the tables. Here, maybe you add your newspaper to the pile, and then you go through a soundproof door into your office. You turn on your stereo console here, maybe select a book from the wall, from the wall unit here, then settle behind your desk module here. You read, you listen to some music, soon, buzz, patient arrives. You turn off the music, set your book aside, and buzz him in through the soundproof doors. He flops onto the couch, creates the couch with the two upstage chairs, tells you his dream. You look out the window here, he leaves, you ride him up, buzz in the next. Soon it's time for lunch. You go in here, have lunch with the wife or one of the kids, maybe stroll back in here for a nap. More buzzes, more patience, and soon it's time to go in for a good, easy, cooperative supper with your family.
But not in the dining room.
No, not in the dining.
This room has such resonance.
So does the church. Doesn't mean we gotta live in it. Look, I know whereof I speak. I grew up in a room like this.
Oh, yes?
Oh, sure. This is home turf to me.
Really?
Oh, God, yes. My father sat in a chair just like that. And my mother sat here, and my sister here, and I sat right here. Oh, it all comes back.
Do you want to tell me about it?
It was torture, that's all. Those endless meals, waiting to begin, waiting for the dessert, waiting to be excused so they couldn't lean on you anymore.
Was it that bad?
Man, it was brutal. I remember one time I came to the table without washing my hands. My father...
Go on.
I'll stay till you go away for the summer.
Measuring width of each French doors. 8 feet, 2 inches. Michael gets up and comes downstage, looks out through the French doors as the architect goes upstage to record his notes on the sideboard.
You're gonna get married, aren't you, Ag?
Well, maybe.
That guy you told me about from the church?
Maybe.
You gonna have children? You will. I know you will. You have a boy of your own.
Hold it tight now.
Will you come back to see us?
Oh, my, yes.
You won't, Ag.
I will, surely.
You'll never come back, Ag. I'll never see you again, ever.
Now, architect now measuring the width. 12 feet, 4 inches.
Oh, come here, Mike.
No.
Come here and give Aggie a big hug.
No. Why should I? No.
Well, just a squeeze for old time's sake.
No. Go
Swear,
hug your
good.
own kids, Agnes. I've got work to do. I've got a whole stack of homework to do. I've missed a whole day of school.
He runs out of the room.
Michael.
She resumes polishing the last few pieces of silver. Architect reeling in his tape with professional zeal. Okay, here's your dining room, Doctor.
Is
Big room, light room, commodious room.
one of the reasons we bought the house.
And one of the reasons we should consider breaking it up.
Breaking it up?
Now, bear with me. What say we turn this room into an office and a waiting room for your patients?
I thought we planned to open up those maids' rooms on the 3rd floor.
Hold on, relax. He begins to spread a large blueprint out on the table, anchoring its corners with his tape measure and centerpiece. Aggie has finished polishing by now. She gathers up her silver and polishing and leaves. The patient trusts the psychiatrist, doesn't he? Why can't the psychiatrist trust the architect? He begins to sketch on the blueprint with a grease pencil. Now, here's a ground plan of your house. Here's what you're stuck with for the moment. And here, with these approximate dimensions, is your dining room.
I see.
Drawing with a grease pencil. Now, suppose, architect snapping out of it, getting up. Never mind. The point is, Doctor, it's time to get rid of this room. He begins to roll up his plans. Tell you frankly, I'm not interested in screwing around with any more maid rooms. I can do that in my sleep. Peggy comes out of the kitchen carrying a large tray loaded with paper plates, napkins, hats, and favors for a children's birthday party. She begins to set up the table. What I want is a chance to get in here so I can open up your whole ground floor. What do you say?
I'll have to think about it.
Okay, fine. Take your time. Tell you what, I'll send you my bill for the work I've done so far.
Good. And I'll send you mine.
They are out. Peggy, meanwhile, is finishing setting the birthday table. She surveys it, then goes to the doorway right and calls off.
All right, children, we're ready.
She is almost bowled over by a moiling, shrieking mob of children coming to celebrate the birthday party. They scream, they yell, they scramble over chairs, grab for favors, wrestle, whatever. Peggy claps her hands frantically.
Children.
They subdue a little.
This is the dining room. It's not the monkey house at the zoo.
They all start imitating monkeys. Peggy shouts them down.
All right, then. I just have to tell Roberta in the kitchen to put all the ice cream and cake away.
The noise subsides. There is silence.
Good. That's much better. Now, I want everyone to leave the table. Quietly. Quietly.
The children begin to leave.
And go into the hall. And then come back in here in the right way. That's it. Go out. Turn around and come in. Come in as if you were your mummies and daddies coming into a lovely dinner party.
Children come back in, much more decorously, unconsciously parodying their parents.
No. Let Winky go first, since it's her birthday and she's the hostess. That's it. Good. You sit at the head of the table, Winky. Good. No, Billy. You sit next to Winky. It should be boy, girl, boy, girl. That's it. Yes, very good.
Children are making concerted effort to be genteel, though they are occasionally subversive, pokings, hittings, and gigglings.
Now, what do we do with our napkins? Yes, exactly. We unfold them and tuck them under our chins. And then we put on our party hats.
Can the boys wear their hats in the house?
Yes, they can, Brewster, because this is a special occasion. Sometimes on special occasions, the rules can change.
Children explode!
Yay!
Yay! Yippee! Peggy has to shout them down. Yay!
I said sometimes!
Etc.
And I meant some of the rules.
There's my daddy!
Where, Billy?
Ted comes on from the hall. She tries to be casual.
Oh, hi.
Hi, Bill.
Party actively continues. The children opening favors. Peggy and Ted move downstage away from the noise.
What brings you here?
I have to pick up Bill.
I thought Judy was picking him up.
She asked me to.
You're a little early. We haven't even had our cake.
She told me to be early.
I can't get mine to work.
Help her, Brewster. Little boys are supposed to help little girls.
Where's Frank?
Playing golf. Where else?
On Winky's birthday?
Don't get me started, please.
Can we have your ice cream now, please?
In a minute, dear. Be patient. Then you'll have something to look forward to.
The children, whispering, begin to count to 60.
Judy must have known he'd be playing golf.
Judy knows everything.
She knows about us, at least.
About us? How?
She said she could tell by the way we behaved.
Behaved? Where?
At the Bramwell's dinner party.
We hardly spoke to each other.
That's how she could tell.
The children's counting has turned to a chant of, "We want ice cream! We want ice cream!"
We want ice cream.
We want
want
ice cream.
cream.
They want ice cream.
She starts for the kitchen.
She says she'll fight it tooth and nail.
Fight what? We haven't done anything.
She says she wants to nip it in the bud.
Ice cream.
Ice cream. Ice
All
cream.
right, children. You win.
Yay!
Now, Roberta is very busy in the kitchen because she also has a dinner party tonight. So who would like to help me bring things out?
Me.
All right. Tell you what, Billy, you get the ice cream, and Sandra, you bring out the cake.
Yay! Yippee!
Etc.
Careful. Walk. Don't run. And be polite to Roberta because she's working very hard. And Brewster and Winky, you'll have other responsibilities.
Sandra and Billy go out to the kitchen.
For instance, Brewster, when Billy and Sandra reappear through that door, what will you do?
Sing the song.
Good, Brewster. Now, be very quiet and watch that door. As soon as they come out, start singing. So what do we do?
She says she's thinking of telling her father.
Her father?
He'd fire me immediately.
What if he did?
I'd be out of a job, Peggy.
You could get another.
Where? Doing what?
The dining room door opens. Billy and Sandra come out carefully carrying a cake platter and an ice cream bowl. Everyone starts singing.
Happy
Happy
birthday to
to
you.
You. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Winky.
Happy
birthday to you.
Winky has been singing happy birthday to me. Billy puts the cake down in front of Winky, who takes a deep breath and to blow out the candle.
No, sweetheart. Wait, always wait. Before you blow out the candles, you have to make a wish. And Mommy has to make a wish. See? Mommy is putting her wedding ring around one of the candles. Now we both close our eyes and make a wish.
I wish I could have.
No, don't tell. Never tell a wish. If you do, it won't come true. All right? Now blow.
Winky blows out the candles. The children cheer.
Yay!
Now, Winky, you could cut the cake and give everyone a piece, please. And Brewster, you pass the ice cream.
The children organize their food as Peggy joins Ted. Downstage, there is a kind of cooing hum of children eating, which punctuates their dialogue.
What did you wish for?
Won't tell.
Do you think it'll come true?
No.
She'd make it so messy for everyone.
Judy.
She'd make it impossible.
So would Frank.
I thought he didn't care.
He'd care if it were messy.
We could leave town.
And go where?
Wherever I find another job.
Yes?
I've got an uncle in Syracuse.
Syracuse.
We could live there.
Is it nice? Syracuse.
I think it's on some kind of lake.
Syracuse.
You'd have Winky. I'd get Bill in the summer.
In Syracuse.
At least we'd be free.
They look at their children.
Winky, wipe your mouth, please.
Billy,
What?
would you come here for a minute, please?
Billy does. Ted takes him aside.
Do you have to go to the bathroom?
No.
Then don't do that, please.
Do what?
You know what. Now go back and enjoy the party.
Billy returns to his seat. Ted rejoins Peggy.
Sorry.
I grew up here
Who didn't?
to just pick up places.
I know.
I mean, this is where I live.
Me too. We'll just have to behave ourselves then.
Oh, Ted.
Be good little children.
Oh, I can't stand it.
She takes his hand and presses it furtively to her lips.
And if we're seated next to each other, we'll have to make a conscious effort.
Oh, we won't be seated next to each other. Judy will see to that
For a while, anyway.
for quite a while.
The children are getting noisy.
Everyone's finished, Mommy.
Thank you, sweetheart.
And here's your ring from the cake.
Good for you, darling. I forgot all about it.
She puts the ring back on.
Time to go then.
I've planned some games.
Want me to stay?
It would help.
Then I'll stay.
Into the living room now, children, for some games.
What games?
Oh, all kinds of games. Blind man's bluff. Pin the tail on the donkey.
Yippee! Yay!
Yeah.
The children run noisily off. Peggy begins putting the mess back on the tray.
I'll get them started.
Would you? While I propitiate Roberta.
I'll be the donkey.
Stop.
I'll be the ass.
Stop, or I'll scream.
He is about to kiss her over the tray when Winky appears at the door. They break away.
Come on, Mommy, we're waiting.
We're coming, dear.
Winky disappears into the hall. Ted and Peggy go off in different ways as a grandfather enters from the hall. He is about 80. He sits at the head of the table and begins to read the newspaper. As he does, a maid, Dora, comes out of the kitchen and begins to set a place in front of him. After a moment, his grandson, Nick, breathlessly appears in the doorway from the hall. He is about 13 or 14. Okay. Grandpa?
Which one are you?
I'm Nick, Gramp.
And what do you want?
To have lunch with you, Gramp.
Then you're late.
I went down to the club.
Who said I'd be at the club?
My parents. My parents said you always eat there.
Lately, I've been coming home.
Yes, sir.
Don't know half the people at the club anymore. Rather be here at my own table. Dora takes care of me. Don't you, Dora?
Yes, sir.
Will you track me down? Anyway, that shows some enterprise. Bring him some lunch, Dora.
Yes, sir.
Nick, sitting opposite of him at the other end of the table. Thank you, Gramp.
And you're Nick A.
Yes, I am.
You're the only one who wants to go to Europe this summer.
No, that's Mary. That's my cousin.
You know, the only one who wants the automobile says he can't go to college without an automobile.
No, that's my brother Tony, Gramp.
What do you want then?
Oh, I don't really want anything.
Everyone who sits down with me wants something. Usually it's money. Do you want money?
Yes, sir.
For what?
My education, Gramp.
Education, eh? That's a good thing. Or can be. Doesn't have to be. Can be a bad thing. Where do you want to be educated?
St. Luke's School in Litchfield, Connecticut.
Never heard of it.
It's an excellent boarding school for boys.
Is it Catholic?
Don't think so, Graham.
Sounds Catholic to me.
I think it's high Episcopalian, Graham.
Then it's expensive.
My parents think it's a first-rate school, Graham.
Ah, your parents think.
They discussed all the boarding schools and decided that this is the best.
They decided, eh?
Yes, sir.
And then they decided you should go get your grandfather to pay for it.
Yes, sir. Dora has returned and set a placemat and a plate for Nick.
Another one leaving the nest, Dora.
Yes, sir.
She waits by the sideboard.
And taking a piece of the nest egg.
Yes, sir.
Why don't you stay home?
Me?
You.
Oh, 'cause I want to broaden myself.
You want to what?
I want to broaden my horizons. My horizons need broadening.
I see, and I'll meet. I see.
And I'll meet interesting new friends.
Don't you have any interesting friends here?
Oh, sure, Gramp.
I do have interesting friends right here. I know a man who makes boats in his basement.
But, Gramp,
I know a man who plays golf with his wife.
I'll meet different types, Gramp, from all over the country. New York, California.
Why would you want to meet anyone from New York?
Well, they're more sophisticated, Gramp. They'll buff me up.
They'll what?
My mother says I need buffing up.
Do you think he needs buffing up, Dora?
No, sir.
Dora doesn't think you need buffing up. I don't think you need buffing up. You'll have to give us better reasons.
Well, they have advanced Latin there.
I see, and...
And an indoor hockey rink.
Yes, and...
And beautiful grounds and surroundings.
Don't we have beautiful surroundings? Why do we have to go away to have beautiful surroundings?
I don't know, Gramp. All I know is that everyone's going away these days.
Everyone's going away. Hear that, Dora? Everyone's going away.
An awful lot of people are going away.
I didn't go away.
I know, Gramp.
Don't even go to Country Day. Went to old PS 36 down on Hearn Street.
Yes, Gramp.
Didn't finish either. Father died. I had to go to work. Had to support my mother.
I know that, Gramp.
My father didn't go to school at all. Learned Greek at the plow.
You told us, Gramp.
Yes. Well, I didn't do too badly without a high Espen boarding up Escopel boarding school and an indoor hockey rink.
But you're a self-made man, Gramp.
Oh, is that what I am? What are you? Don't you want to be a self-made? Or do you want other people to make you? What? What have you got to say to that?
I don't know.
Everyone wants to go away. Me, I went away twice. Took 2 vacations in my life. First vacation, took a week off from work to marry your grandmother. Went to Europe, went to Hot Springs, Virginia. Brought this table. Second vacation, Europe, 1928. Again with your grandmother. Hated the place. Knew I would. Miserable meals. Took a truckload of shredded wheat along. Come back when I ran out. Back to this table. They're all leaving us, Dora. Scattered like birds.
Yes, sir.
We're small potatoes these days.
Yes, sir.
This one wants to go one of those fancy New England boarding schools. He wants to play ice hockey and indoors with that crowding from Long Island and Philadelphia. He'll come home talking with marbles in his mouth. He won't understand a word, Dora.
No, yes, sir.
And we won't see much of him, Dora. He'll go visiting in New York and Baltimore. He'll drink liquor in afternoons and get mixed up with women who wear lipstick and trousers and whose only thought is the next dance, and he wants me to pay for it all. Am I right?
No, Gramp, no, I don't. I don't want to go. Really, I never wanted to go. I want to stay home with all of you.
Finish your greens. They're good for your lower intestine.
They eat silently. From the right, a man named Paul enters. He's in his mid-30s and wears an open shirt. He starts carefully examining the dining room chair along the left wall, one by one, turning them upside down, testing their strength.
No, you got to go. You got to go. I'll send you to St. Woozy's and Betsy to Miss Watsy and young Andy to whatever it's called, and Mary can go to Europe this summer, and Tony can have a car, and it's all fine and dandy.
He gets slowly to his feet. Nick gets up too.
Go on, enjoy yourselves, all of you. Leave town, travel, see the world. It's bound to happen, and you know who's going to be sitting right here when you come back. I'll tell you who'll be sitting right here. Some Irish fellas, some Jewish gentleman who's going to be sitting right at this table, saying the same thing to his grandson, and your grandson will be at the plow.
Starts out the door, stops, turns.
And come to think of it, that won't be a bad thing either, will it, Dora?
No, sir.
He exits. Dora starts clearing off. Nick stands in the dining room.
Well, go on, hurry. Bring him his checkbook before he falls asleep.
Nick hurries off. Right. Dora goes off with the plates left. Paul begins to check the table. A woman, about 40, call her Marjorie, appears in the hall doorway. She watches Paul.
Well, what do you think?
You're in trouble.
Oh, dear, I knew it.
It's becoming unglued.
I know the feeling.
Coming apart at the seams.
You think it's hopeless?
Let me check the table.
He crawls under the table.
It shakes very badly. I had a few friends over the other night, and every time we tried to cut our chicken, our water glasses started tinkling frantically, and the chairs croaked and groaned. It was like having dinner in Pompeii.
I'm checking the joints here.
It's all very sad. And how things run down and fall apart. I used to tell my husband, my ex-husband, we have such lovely old things. We should oil them. We should wax them. We should keep them up. But of course, I couldn't do everything, and he wouldn't do anything. And now here you are to give us the coup de grace.
Hey, look at this.
What?
Look under here.
I don't dare.
I'm serious. Look.
Okay, well, wait till I put on my glasses.
She puts on her glasses, which are hanging from a chain around her neck. Then she bends down discreetly.
Where? I can't see.
Under here. Look. This support. See how loose it is?
I can't quite. Wait.
She gets down on her knees.
Come on.
All right.
She crawls under the table.
See? Look at this support.
See, it wiggles like mad.
They are both crawling under the table now.
And look over here. I'll have to put in a whole new piece in over here. See? This is gone.
I see.
And, excuse me, please. This pedestal is loose. Probably needs a new dowel. I'll have to ream it out and put in another.
Do you think so?
Oh, sure. In fact, your whole dining room needs to be re-screwed, re-glued, and renewed.
His little joke. He comes out from under. She is still under the table.
What's the matter?
I've never been under a table before.
Oh, yeah?
It's all just wood under here, isn't it?
That's all it is.
I mean, you'd think a dining room table was something special, but it isn't. Underneath, it's all just wood, just a couple of big, wide boards.
That's right.
What's this here?
What's what?
Well, you'll have to come back under here to see. There's some writing here burned into the wood.
Where?
Right here. Freeman's Furniture, Wilkes Bar, PA, 1898.
Oh, that's the manufacturer's mark.
1898?
That's what it says.
But that's not so old.
Not if it was made in 1898.
That's not old at all. That's not even an antique. Well, it's just American.
Well, there's a lot of these around. They used to crank them out at the end of the 19th century.
Well, aren't I dumb? For years, we've been thinking it's terribly valuable.
Well, it is, in a sense. It's well made. It's a solid, serviceable copy, based on the English.
Well, I'll be damned. You learn something every day.
They are both sitting side by side at the table. She looks at him.
You know a lot about furniture, don't you?
I'm beginning to.
Beginning to. I'll bet your father was a cabinet maker or something.
My father was a banker.
A banker?
And I was a stockbroker until I got into this.
I don't believe it.
Sure. I decided I wanted to see what I was doing and touch it and see the results. So I took up carpentry.
I'm amazed. I mean, I know some stockbrokers. Is this the support that's bad?
That's the one.
Well, what if you put a nail in here?
Not a nail, a screw.
All right, and another one over here. Or at least some household cement.
Well, they have these epoxy glues now.
All right, and maybe cram a matchbook or something in here?
Not a matchbook.
Wedge them. A wedge then, a wooden wedge.
Good idea.
See? I can do it too.
In her intensity, she has gotten very close to him physically. They both suddenly realize and move away, crawling out from under the table on either side, brushing themselves off.
So, well, will you be taking the table away, or can you fix it here?
I can fix it here, if you want.
Well, that might make more sense. My husband used to ask for written estimates, materials, and labor.
I'll write one up.
Well, suppose I helped. On the labor?
I've never worked that way.
Well, I should learn. I shouldn't be so helpless.
Okay, why not?
Besides, it's not an antique. If I make a mistake, it's not the end of the world, is it?
Not at all.
When could we start?
Today? Now, if you want.
Then we're a partnership, aren't we? We should have a drink to celebrate.
Okay.
From off stage right, we hear voices singing the Thanksgiving hymn, which everyone knows. Come ye thankful people come.
Come ye thankful.
Have something snappy, like a martini.
No, I gave them up at the stock market. How about a beer?
Fine idea. Good, solid beer. If I've got it.
They go off into the kitchen as Nancy, in her 30s, comes out carrying a stack of plates and a carving knife and fork. She calls back over her shoulder.
I've got the plates, Mrs. Driscoll. You've got your hands full with that turkey.
She sets the plates and carving utensils at the head of the table and calls for the whole.
Ready, everybody? Come on in.
The singing continues as a family begins to come into the dining room to celebrate Thanksgiving dinner. the oldest son, Stuart, and has his mother on his arm. She is very vague and very old. She's very vague and very old lady.
You might be on mute.
Sorry. Now I'm good. Now, Mother, I want you to sit next to me, and Fred, you sit on Mother's left, and Ben, you sit opposite her, where she can see you, and Nancy and Beth hold up the end of the table. And there we are.
Genial chatter as everyone sits down. The two sons push in their mother's chair. After a moment, the old lady stands up again, looks around distractedly.
What's the matter, Mother?
I'm not quite sure where I am.
You are here, Mother, in your own dining room. This is your table, and here are your chairs, and here is the china you got on your trip to England. Here is the silver-handled carving knife which Father used to use.
Oh, yes.
No laughter, genial laughter, ad-libbing.
She's really
It's been a
old.
long day.
But who are these people? I'm not quite sure who these people are.
He begins to wander around the room.
It's me, Mother. Stuart, your son, and here's Fred and Ben and Nancy and Beth. We're all here, Mother.
I'll get the turkey. That might help her focus.
Yes. Miss Driscoll's here, Mother, right in your kitchen where she's always been. And your grandchildren, all your grandchildren were here. Don't you remember? They ate first at the children's table, and now they're out in the backyard playing touch football. You watched them, Mother.
He indicates the French doors.
Yes.
She sits down again at the other end of the table. Nancy comes out from the kitchen carrying a large platter. Appropriate oohs and ahs from the group.
Wow.
Very appropriate, thank you.
And look, Mother, here's Nancy with the turkey. Put it right over there, Nancy. See, Mother? Isn't it a beautiful bird? And I'm going to carve it just the way Father did, and give you a small piece of the breast and dab of dressing, just as always, Mother.
He sharpens the carving knife officiously.
Just as always.
And Fred will have the drumstick, am I right, Fred? And Beth gets the wishbone, and Ben ends up with the Pope's nose, and am I right, Ben?
you are right.
Theme song for Miss Driscoll.
I always do, Nancy. Miss Driscoll likes the second joint.
This is all very nice, but I think I'd like to go home.
You are home, Mother. You've lived here for 52 years.
54.
Then pass this plate down to Mother.
Well, thank you very much, but I really do think it's time to go.
Uh-oh.
Mother.
Will someone please drive me home, please? I live at 18 Summer Street with my mother and sisters.
What will we do?
It's not there now, Mother. Don't you remember we drove down? There's a big building there now.
Thank you very much for asking. Thank you very much for having me to your house.
He begins to go around the table, thanking people. Mother, I'm Fred, your son.
Isn't that nice? Thank you. I've had a perfectly lovely time. Thank you so much.
She shakes hands with Nancy.
It's been absolutely lovely. Thank you.
Quickly, let's sing to her.
Sing?
She likes singing. We used to sing to her whenever she'd get upset. Fred, Ben, quickly over here.
Now I can't find my gloves. Where would my gloves be? I can't go out without my gloves.
What song? I can't remember any of the songs.
Sure you can. Come on.
He sounds the notes. The others try to find their parts.
I need my gloves. I need my hat.
As the blackbird in the spring.
Neath
Neath
the
the
Willow
willow
tree.
sad
Night I heard them sing. Sing orally.
They sing in pleasant, amateurish, corny harmony. The old lady stops fussing, turns her head, and listens. The other women remain at the table.
Orally,
Made
orally, made of golden hair. Sunshine came along with thee, and swallows in the air.
I love the music. Every person in our family could play a different instrument.
She sits in a chair along the wall, downright.
He is coming around quickly. Second verse.
In thy blush the rose was born, music when you spake. Through thine azure eye the morn sparkling seemed to break. Orally, orally, made of golden hair. Sunshine came along with thee, and swallows in the air. They hold a long note at the end. The old lady claps. Everyone claps.
That was absolutely lovely.
Thank you, Mother.
But now I've simply got to go home. Would you call my carriage, please? And someone find my hat and gloves. It's very late, and my mother gets very nervous if I'm not home in time for tea.
She heads to the hall.
Look, Fred, Ben will drive her down and show her everything. The new office complex where her house was, the entrance to the throughway, the new Howard Jones motel, everything, and she'll see that nothing's there at all.
All right. Oh. I'll bring the car around.
I'll get her coat.
I'm coming too.
We'll just have to go through the motions.
The brothers hurry after their mother. Nancy and Beth are left alone on stage. Pause. They begin to stack the dishes.
That's scary.
I know it.
I suddenly feel so precarious.
It could happen to us all.
No, but it's as if we didn't exist. As if we were all just ghosts or something. Even her own sons. She walked right by them.
And guess who walked right by us?
Yes. You know what I'd like?
What?
A good stiff drink.
I'm with you.
I bet Miss Driscoll could use a drink too.
Bet she could.
Let's go out and ask her.
Miss Driscoll.
Let's.
Right.
Let's go and have a drink with Miss Driscoll and then dig into roast turkey and help her with the dishes and then figure out how to get through the rest of the goddamn day.
They go off into the kitchens. The table is clear, the dining room is empty. End of Act 1. Act 2. The dining room table is empty. The light suggests that it is about 3 in the afternoon. After a moment, a girl's voice is heard off right from the hall. Girl.
Mom, anybody home?
Silence, and more softly.
See, I told you she isn't here.
Sarah appears in the doorway with Helen behind her.
Where is she?
She works at a boutique 4 days a week. And my father's away on business in Atlanta or Denver or somewhere. Anyway, come on. I'll show you where to keep the liquor.
My mom's always there when I get home from school, always.
Bummer.
And if she isn't, my grandmother comes in.
The liquor's in the pantry.
Sarah goes out through the dining room door, left. Helen stays in the dining room.
Oh, hey, neat. Oh,
What?
this room.
That's our dining room.
I know, but it's viciously nice.
Coming out of the kitchen, carrying 2 bottles. Sarah.
Which do you want? Wine or gin?
You decide.
Well, there's more gin, so less chance they'll notice.
The gin then.
But the reason there's more gin is that I put water in it last week.
Vodka then.
I'll tell you what, we'll mix a little bit of both.
Okay. Do you use this room?
Oh yeah, sure.
Special occasions, huh? When the relatives come to visit?
Every night.
Every night?
Well, at least every night they're both home.
Really?
Coming in, carrying 2 glasses.
Oh, sure. Whenever they're home, my father insists that we all eat in the dining room at 7 o'clock.
Hands Helen her drink.
Here, gin and vodka and fresca. The boys are bringing the pot.
It must be nice eating here.
Slouching in a chair.
Oh, yeah, sure. You bet. We have to lug things out, then lug things back in. And nobody can begin till everything's cold. And we're supposed to carry on a decent conversation. Oh, and everyone has to finish before anyone can get up. And it sucks, if you want to know. It sucks out loud.
They grin.
We eat in the kitchen.
Can you watch TV while you eat?
We used to. We used to watch the local news and weather.
That's something. At least you don't have to talk.
Oh, but now we can't watch it. My mother read in Family Circle that TV was bad at meals, so now we turn on the stereo and listen to semi-classical music.
My parents said they tried eating in the kitchen when I went to boarding school, but when I got kicked out, they moved back in here. It's supposed to give me some sense of stability.
Do you think it does?
Ugh. Shit, no. It just makes me nervous. They take the telephone off the hook so no one can call. And my brother gets itchy about his homework. And when my sister had anorexia and she still had to sit here and watch, for God's sake. And my parents spend most of the meal bitching. And the whole thing bites, Helen. It really just bites. It bites the big one. You want another?
No, thanks.
No, I do. You call the boys and tell them it's all clear.
She goes back into the kitchen.
Sarah?
What?
When the boys come over, can we have our drinks in here?
Kate, a woman in her mid-40s, comes out. She carries a small tray containing a teapot, 2 teacups, sugar, and creamer. She sits at the table and watches the teapot.
In the dining room?
Well, I mean, wouldn't it be cool, sitting around this shiny table with Eddie and Twain, drinking gin and fresca and vodka?
Coming out from the kitchen.
No way. Absolutely no way. In here? I get all uptight in here.
She heads for
Now,
the
come on.
house.
Let's call them.
Helen
Having
starts after her.
Having Boys in the dining room. Jesus, Helen. You really are a wimp sometimes.
They go out, right? Helen is looking back over her shoulder at the dining room.
I'm here, Gordon. I made tea.
Gordon comes into the hall. He is about her age. He is buttoning his shirt, carrying his jacket and tie slung over one shoulder.
Tea.
Tea.
Why tea?
Because I like it. I love it.
Or would you
Would you like a drink?
Sorry. No thanks.
Go ahead. Don't worry about me. I'm all over that. We even have it in the house, and I never touch it.
No thanks, Kate.
Then have tea. It's very good. It's Earl Grey.
I ought to be getting back.
Gordon, please. Have tea.
All right.
Thank you.
She begins to pour him a cup.
Tea in the dining room.
Where else? Should we huddle guiltily around the kitchen table?
No.
Then tea in the dining room.
What?
What would you like, lemon or milk?
Whatever.
Gordon.
Milk then, no sugar.
Milk it is.
She hands him a cup.
Well, sit down, for heaven's sake.
Not sitting.
I thought I heard a sound.
Oh, really? And what sound did you hear? A distant lawnmower? A faulty burglar alarm?
I thought I heard a car.
What? A car? On this godforsaken street, should we rush to the window, cheer, wave flags?
Go easy, Kate.
Well, I doubt very much that you heard a car.
It stopped.
The sound?
The car stopped.
All right, Gordon, you heard a car stop. But it's not Ed's car, is it? Because Ed, as you and I well know, is in Amsterdam or Rotterdam or who gives a damn until next Tuesday.
Reaches for his hat.
Now sit down, please. Let's have tea, for heaven's sake.
He sits on the edge of his chair.
When can we meet again?
I heard a car door slam.
Really? That's because cars have doors, and people, when they get really frustrated, feel like slamming them.
I'm going.
I see how it is. A quick tumble with the bored wife of your best friend.
Someone's at the front door.
No.
Yes, someone with a key.
Kate comes up. They listen.
Now you've got to stay.
Gordon quickly puts on his coat. A boy's voice is heard calling from the hall.
Mom!
Oh, Lord, help us.
I'm home, Mom!
Now you've got to have tea.
Mom!
We're in the dining room, dear.
Chris slides into view from the right. He's about 17, carries a duffel bag. Kate goes to him effusively.
Darling, how'd you get here?
I took a cab from the bus station.
Kate embraces him. He looks at Gordon.
You look marvelous, taller than ever. Say hello to Uncle Gordon.
Hi, Chris. Welcome home.
Hi.
What's this? Is this what they teach you at Deerfield? Not to shake hands, not to call people by name?
Hello, Uncle Gordon.
They shake
Hi.
hands.
Hi, Chris.
But what brings you home, my love? I expected you Saturday.
I got honors.
Honors?
You get out 2 days early if you get over 85 average.
But then you should have telephoned.
I wanted to surprise you.
I ought to go.
Nonsense. Have more tea. Chris, would you like tea? I was taking a nap and Gordon stopped by and we thought we'd have tea. Have some tea, dear. Or a Coke. Have a Coke. Or shall I get you a beer? How about a beer for a big boy who gets honors?
No thanks.
I'd really better go.
You won't have more tea?
Can't, sorry.
All right, then. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Chris.
Goodbye.
Gordon goes quietly. Right. Kate starts to put the tea things back on the tray.
He wanted to talk to me about stocks. I inherited some stock, and he thinks I should sell. And so he stopped by.
Where's Dad?
He's in Europe, darling. As I think I wrote you. He'll be home Tuesday.
Oh, Mom.
And what does that mean, pray tell? Oh, Mom. I'd like to know, please, what that means. I happen to be having tea, Christopher. It happens to be a very old custom. Your grandmother used to have tea at this very table with this same china every afternoon. All sorts of people would stop by all the time. I would come home from school and there she'd be serving tea. It's a delightful old custom, sweetheart.
He starts for the hall.
Where are you going? I asked you a question.
Chris walks into the room. A
Please.
young man.
We don't just walk away.
No. Chris walks out of the room. A young man named Tony comes in from the kitchen, decked out with a camera and various pieces of photographic equipment. He begins to test the room with his light meter.
Chris, I am talking to you. I'm talking to you, and I am your mother, and the least you can do is...
She follows him out into the hall, still carrying the tray. Tony calling towards the kitchen. Hey, would you mind setting up over here, Aunt Harriet? I want to get you in the late afternoon light. Aunt Harriet, a woman of about 60, appears in the kitchen door, carrying another tray, glittering with old china and crystal.
Certainly, Tony.
She goes to where he indicates and puts down her tray and begins to set a place at the table.
Now, I thought I'd use this Irish linen placemat with matching napkin that my husband, who's your great uncle, inherited from his sister. They have to be washed and ironed by hand every time they're used.
He places the mat. He photographs it.
And then, of course, the silver, which was given to us as a wedding present by your great-grandmother. You see? 3-pronged forks, pistol-handled knives, spoon with rat tail back, all Williamsburg pattern. This should be polished at least every 2 weeks.
She sets the place as he photographs each item. She becomes more and more at home with the camera.
And then this is the Stratfordshire, as is the butter plate. All of this is bone. The wine glasses are early Steuben, but the goblets and finger bowls are both Waterford. None of this goes in the dishwasher, of course. It's all far too delicate for detergents.
The place is all set. She surveys it proudly. Finger bowls.
Oh, yes. Our side of the family always used finger bowls between the salad and the dessert.
Would you show me how they worked?
Certainly, dear.
Who continues to snap pictures of her as she talks?
You see, the maid would take away the salad plate, like this.
She put the plate aside to her right.
And then she'd put down the finger bowls in front of us, like this. They would be filled approximately halfway with cool water. And there might be a little rose floating in it, or a sliver of lemon. Now, of course, we'd have our napkins in our laps, like this.
She sits down, shakes out her napkin, puts it discreetly in her lap.
And then we dip our fingers into the finger bowl, gently, gently. And then we'd wiggle them and shake them out and then dab them on our napkins, and then dab our lips, and of course the maids would take them away.
She moves the finger
And
aside.
and in would come a nice sherbet or a chocolate mousse.
She beams at the camera, at last used to it. She snaps the picture. Thanks, Aunt Harriet, that was terrific. He begins to pack up his photographic gear.
You're welcome. Now, Tony, dear, tell me again what this is all for. I didn't quite understand over the telephone.
This is for a class project for Amherst.
Oh my! A project. In what, pray tell?
Anthropology, actually.
Anthropology? Heavens!
She starts to return items to her tray.
What does that have to do with this?
Well, you see, we're studying the eating habits of various vanishing cultures. For example, someone is talking about the Kikiyus of northern Kenya, and my roommate is doing the Korean Indians of Saskatchewan, and my professor suggests that I do a slideshow on us.
Us?
The wasps of northeastern United States.
I see.
You can learn a lot about a culture from how it eats.
Such as what?
Well, consider the finger bowls, for example. There you have an almost neurotic obsession with cleanliness, reflecting on the guilt which comes from the last stages of capitalism. Or notice the unnecessary accumulation of glass and china, the compulsion to display it, or the subtle hint of aggression in those pistol-handed knives.
I think I'll ask you to leave, Tony.
Harriet.
I was going to invite you to stay for a cocktail, but now I won't.
Please, Aunt Harriet. He begins to gather up his equipment.
Out! Right now! Before I telephone long distance to your mother!
And he backs toward the hallway.
Vanishing culture, my eye! I forbid you to mention my name in the classroom, or show one glimpse of my personal property! And you can tell that professor of yours I've got a good mind to drive up to Amherst with this pistol-handled butter knife on the seat beside me and cut off his anthropological balls!
Tony runs hurriedly from the room. Harriet returns to her tray proudly and carries it back to the kitchen. As she goes, an older man called Jim comes from the hall, followed by his daughter Meg. He is in his late 30s. She is about 30.
Where are you going now, Dad?
He's in his 60s. She is about 30.
Where are you going now? Where are you going now, Daddy?
I think your mother might want a drink.
She's reading to the children.
That's why she might want one.
She wants no such thing, Dad.
Well, then I want one.
No, it's not even 5.
Well, then let's go see how the Red Sox are doing.
Daddy, stop.
Stop what?
Avoiding me. Ever since I arrived, we haven't been able to talk.
Good Lord, what do you mean? Seems to me everybody's been talking continuously and simultaneously from the moment you got off the plane.
Alone, Daddy. I mean alone, and you know I mean alone.
All right, we'll talk. Right here in the dining room. Good place to talk. Why not? Matter of fact, I'm kind of tired. It's been a long day.
I love this room. I've always loved it, always.
Your mother and I still use it now and then. Once a week. Mrs. Robinson comes in and cooks us a nice dinner, and we have it in here. Still. Lamb chops, broilers.
I've left him, Daddy.
Oh, well, now a little vacation.
I've left him permanently.
Yes, well, permanently is a very
I
long
can't
word.
live with him, Dad. We don't get along at all.
Well, you might think that now.
Could we live here, Dad?
Here,
For a few months.
with 3 small children.
While I work out my life.
What time is it? A little after 5. I think the sun is over the yardarm, don't you? Or if it isn't, it should be. I think it's almost permissible for you and I to have a little drink, Meg.
Can we stay here, Dad?
Make us a drink, Meggie.
All right.
She goes into the kitchen. The door, of course, remains open.
I'd like a scotch, sweetheart. Make it reasonably strong. You'll find the silver measuring gizmo in the drawer by the trays. I want 2 shots and a splash of water. I'd like to use that big glass with the pheasants on it, and not too much ice.
He gets up and moves around the table.
Yeah, all right.
I saw Mimi Mott the other day. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Dad.
There she was, being a very good sport with her 3rd husband. Her 3rd, who's as deaf as a post and extremely disagreeable. So I took her aside. Can you hear me?
I'm listening, Dad.
I took her aside and I said, "Now, Mimi, tell me the truth. If you had made half as much effort with your 1st husband as you've made with the last 2, don't you think you'd still be married to him?" I asked her that, with a point blank. And you know what Mimi said? She said, "Maybe." That's exactly what she said. Maybe, if she had made the effort.
Meg returns with 2 glasses. She gives one to Jim.
That's your generation, Dad.
Oh, that's every generation.
No, it's not mine.
Every generation has to make an effort.
I won't go back to him, Dad. I want to be here.
I said I wanted the glass with the pheasants on it.
I think the kids used it.
Oh.
So,
He drinks, moves away from her.
can we stay, Dad?
I sleep in your room now. Your mother kicked me out because I snore. And we use the boys' room now to watch TV.
I'll use the guest room.
And the children?
They can sleep on the 3rd floor, in the maids' rooms.
We closed them off because of the oil bills.
I don't care, Dad. We'll work it out, please.
He sits down at the other end of the table.
Give it another try first.
No.
Another try.
She's got someone else now, Dad. She's living there right now. She's moved in.
Then fly back and kick her out.
God, Dad.
I'm serious. You don't know this, but that's what your mother did. One time I became romantically involved with Mrs. Shoemaker. We took a little trip together. Sea Island. Your mother got wind of it and came right down and told Betty Shoemaker to get on the next train. That's all there was to it. Now, why don't you do that? Go tell this woman to peddle her papers elsewhere. We'll sit with the children while you do.
I've got someone too, Dad.
You mean you've had a little fling?
No, I've been going with someone.
A little fling?
I've been living with him.
Where was your husband?
He stayed with his girl.
And your children?
Oh, they, came and went.
It sounds a little complicated.
It is, Dad. That's why I need to come home.
Now let's review the bidding, may we? Do you plan to marry this new man?
No.
You're not in love with him?
No, he's already married anyway.
And he's decided he loves his wife?
No.
But you've decided you don't love him?
Yes.
Or your husband?
Yes.
And your husband's fallen in love with somebody else?
He lives with someone else.
And your children, my grandchildren, come and go among these various households?
Yes. Sort of. Yes.
Sounds extremely complicated.
It is, Dad. It really is.
Pause. He drinks, thinks, gets up, paces.
Well then, it seems to me the first thing you do is simplify things. That's the first thing. You ask the man you're living with to leave. You sue your husband for divorce. You hold on to your house. You keep the children in their present schools. Lots of them.
There's someone else, Dad.
Someone else?
Someone else entirely.
A third person?
Yes.
What was that movie your mother and I liked so much? The Third Man?
He sits down left.
It's not a man, Dad.
Not a man.
It's a woman.
Woman.
I've been involved with a woman, Dad, but it's not working, and I don't know who I am, and I've got to touch base. Daddy, I want to be here.
She kneels at his feet. Jim gets slowly to his feet. He points to his glass.
I think I'll get a repair. Would you like a repair? I'll take your glass. I'll get us both repairs.
He takes her glass and goes to the kitchen, leaving the door open. Moving around, Meg is moving around in the dining room.
I'm all mixed up, Dad. You know, I'm all over the ballpark. I've been seeing a crisis counselor, and I've taken a part-time job, and I've been jogging 2 miles a day, and none of it's working, Dad. I want to come home. I want to take my children to the zoo and Park Lake and the art gallery and do all the things that you and Mother used to do with all of us. You know, I want to start again, Dad. I want to start all over again.
Jim comes out from the kitchen, now carrying 3 glasses.
I made one for your mother, and I found the glass with the pheasants on it in the trash. Somebody broke it.
He crosses the doorway, right.
So let's have a nice cocktail with your mother and see if we can get the children to sit quietly while we do.
You don't want us here, do you, Dad?
Of course we do, darling. A week, 10 days. You're most welcome.
I can't go back, Dad.
Neither can I, sweetheart. Neither can I.
He shuffles on out. Meg stands for a moment in the dining room, then hurries out after him. Emily, a woman of about 35, comes in and looks at the table.
I don't know whether to eat or not.
Her son David comes in. He's about 14.
What's the trouble, Mother?
I don't know whether to eat or not. Your father and I were sitting in the living room having a perfectly pleasant cocktail together, when all of a sudden that stupid telephone rang, and now he's holed up in the bedroom, talking away.
Who's he talking to?
I don't know. I don't even know. I think it's someone from the club.
Claire, her daughter, comes. She's about 16.
Hmm?
Eating or not?
I simply don't know.
Bertha, the maid, sticks her head out of the kitchen door.
I don't know whether to go ahead or not. Bertha, Mr. Thatcher is still on the telephone.
Can we at least start the soup?
I don't know. I just don't know. Oh, let's wait 5 more minutes, Bertha.
Yes, Mrs.
Bertha disappears. Emily, David, and Claire sit down.
Honestly, that telephone, I could wring its neck. It should be banned. It should be outlawed between 6 and 8 in the evening.
The father comes in hurriedly from the hall. His name is Standish. I've got to go.
Go? Go where?
Out. Bertha comes in with the soup tureen.
You mean you can't even sit down and have some of Bertha's nice celery soup?
I can't even finish my cocktail. Something very bad has happened.
Bertha, would you mind very much putting the soup back in a saucepan and keeping it on a low flame. We'll call you when we're ready.
Yes, Mrs.
Bertha goes out. Standish takes Emily aside downstage.
Now, what on earth is the matter?
Henry has insulted us down at the club.
Insulted?
Uncle Henry?
Ignoring Claire, Standish confidently. Binky Byers made a remark to him in the steam bath.
Oh, no!
What did he say, Dad?
Yeah, what did he say?
I believe I was speaking to your mother. Binky made a remark. Apparently, a number of the newer members laughed. Poor Henry was so upset that he had to put on his clothes and leave. He called me from Mother's.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I telephoned the club. I spoke to several people who had been in the steam bath. They confirmed the incident. I had to speak to Binky Byers. He refused to come to the phone, and so I've got to do something about it.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
Won't you tell us what he said to Uncle Henry, Dad?
I will not. I will not dignify that remark by repeating it.
Oh, come on, Dad. We're not babies.
Yes, Standish. Really.
He said, Claire, I want you to leave the room.
Why? I'm older.
Yes, she should know. Everybody should know. These are different times.
Bertha comes out.
We're not quite ready yet, Bertha.
Yes, Mrs.
He goes back in.
Now, go on, Standish. Be frank. This is a family.
Mr. Byers has made an unfortunate remark having to do with your Uncle Henry's private parts.
I'm afraid you'll have to be more specific, dear.
Mr. Byers, who had obviously been drinking since early afternoon, approached Uncle Henry in the steam bath and alluded in very specific terms to his personal relationships.
What personal relationships?
His associations in the outside world.
I don't get it.
Darling, Mr. Byers must have made some unnecessary remarks about your Uncle Henry's bachelor attachments.
You mean Uncle Henry's a fruit?
I won't have that word in my house!
I was just...
He got it from school, dear.
I don't care if he got it from God. I will not have it in this house. The point is, my own brother was wounded at his club.
But what can you do, dear?
Go down there.
To your mother's.
To the club. I'll demand a public apology from Binky from the entire grill.
But if you won't even come to the telephone.
I'll have to fight him.
Oh, Standish.
I'll have to.
Oh, Daddy.
I can't let this remark stand.
Can I come with you, Dad?
You may not. I want you home with your mother.
Standish, for heaven's sake.
No arguments, please.
But Binky Byers is half your age and twice your size.
Makes no difference.
I think he was on the boxing team at Dartmouth.
No difference whatsoever.
Oh, what about your bad shoulder? What about your hernia?
I'm sorry. I imagine shall be seriously hurt, but I can't stand idly by.
Oh, Daddy, please don't go.
Bertha comes out of the kitchen.
The lamb is overdone. Will be overdone, Mrs.
And it's a beautiful lamb. Standish.
Now you listen to me, all of you. Bertha has been heading back into the kitchen. And you too, Bertha. He points toward a chair on the side. Bertha crosses as everyone watches her. Sits on the edge of the chair. Everyone turns back to Standish. There is nothing I'd rather do in this world than sit down at this table with all of you and have some of Bertha's fine celery soup, followed by a leg of lamb with mint sauce and roast potatoes. Am I right about the sauce and the potatoes, Bertha?
Yes, sir.
There is nothing that I would rather have than that, but I have to forgo it. My own brother has been publicly insulted in the club, and that means that our family has been insulted. And when the family has been insulted, that means that this table, these chairs, this room, and all of us, including you, Bertha, are being treated with scorn. And if I stayed here, if I sat down with all of you, I wouldn't be able to converse. I wouldn't be able to laugh. I wouldn't be able to correct your grammar, David. And I wouldn't be able to enjoy your fine meal, Bertha. I wouldn't even be able to kiss my handsome wife goodbye. He kisses her. It is a passionate kiss. Goodbye, dear.
Goodbye, darling.
Goodbye, Winkins.
Goodbye, Daddy.
He shakes hands with David. Goodbye, David.
So long, Dad. Good luck.
Goodbye, Bertha.
Goodbye, sir. God bless you.
Thank you very much indeed. He goes out.
Of course we can't eat now, Bertha. Have something yourself and let people raid the icebox later on.
Yes, Mrs.
And the children can have lamb hash on Saturday.
Yes, Mrs.
David, you and I will drive down to the club and wait for the outcome in the visitors' lounge.
Okay, Mother.
So get a book. Get a good book. Get Ivanhoe. It could be quite a while.
Okay.
And Claire, I want you to stay here and hold the fort.
All right, Mother.
Get on the telephone to Dr. Russell. I don't care whether he's having dinner or in the operating room. Tell him to be at the club to give your father first aid.
All right, Mother.
And then study your French.
All right.
She starts out, then stops.
Mother.
What? For heaven's sake?
Is it true about Uncle Henry?
Well, it may be, sweetheart. But you don't have to say it to him. And you don't say it at the club. And you don't say it within a 10-mile radius of your father. Now, goodbye.
Emily rushes off, right, followed by Claire. An old man and his middle-aged son come on from the right. The old man is Harvey, his son is Dick. The light is dim in the dining room now, except downstage by the French windows.
Thank you. I'll meet again.
We'll talk in here. No one will disturb us. Nobody comes near our dining room anymore. The thought of sitting down with a number of intelligent, attractive people to enjoy good food while cooked and properly served, that apparently doesn't occur to people anymore. Nowadays, people eat in kitchens or in living rooms, standing around bouncing their plates like jugglers. Soon they'll be eating in bathrooms. Well, why not simplify the process considerably?
Sit down somewhere, Pop.
I'll sit here. We can look out. There's a purple finch who comes to the feeder every evening, brings his young.
Dick pulls up a chair beside him. Behind, in the dim light, three women begin to set the table, this time for an elaborate dinner. A great white tablecloth, candles, flowers in the works. The process should be reverential, quiet, and muted, not to distract from the scene downstage. Harvey's taking an envelope from his inside pocket.
Now, I want to go over my funeral with you.
Pop,
I want to do it. There are only a few more apples left in the barrel for me.
you've been saying that for years, Pop.
Well, this time it's true. So I want to go over this, please. You're my eldest son. I can't do it with anyone else. Your mother starts to cry and your brother isn't here and your sister gets distracted. So concentrate, please, on my funeral.
All right, Pop.
First, here is my obituary for both newspapers I dictated to Miss Kovac down at the office, and I've read it over twice, and it is what I want. It is through without being self-congratulatory. I mean, I mention my business career, my civic conventions, and of course my family. I even touch on my recreational life. I give my lowest score in golf and weight of the sailfish. I caught off the keys. The papers will want to be cut out both items, but don't let them.
Okay, Pop.
I also want them to print this picture. It was taken when I was elected to chair the Symphony Drive. I think it will do. I don't look too young to die, no so old it won't make any difference.
All right, Pop.
Now I want the funeral service announced at the end of the obituary and to occur 3 days later. This will give people time to postpone their trips and adjust their golf games, and I want it all at 3:30 in the afternoon. This gives people time to digest their lunch and doesn't obligate us to feed them dinner. Notice I've underlined the word church. Mr. Fairweather might try to squeeze the service into the chapel, but don't let him. I've lived in the city all my life and know a great many people, and I want everyone to have a seat and feel comfortable. If you see people milling around the door, go right up to them and find them a place, even if you have to use folding chairs. Are we clear on that?
Yes, Pop.
By now, the table has been mostly set behind him. The women have gone.
I've listed the following works to be played by Mrs. Manchester at the organ. This Bach, this Handel, this Schubert, all lively, you'll notice. Nothing gloomy, nothing grim. I wanted the service to start promptly with a good rousing hymn, Onward, Christian Soldiers, and then Fairweather may make some brief remarks about my life and works. Do you plan to get up and speak, by the way?
Me?
You. Do you plan to say anything?
I hadn't thought, Pop.
Don't, if you don't want to. There's nothing more uncomfortable than a reluctant or unwilling speaker. On the other hand, if you, as my eldest, were to get on your feet and say a few words of farewell.
Of course I will, Pop.
Good, then I'll write you in. Brief remarks by my son Richard. Any ideas what you might say?
No, Pop.
You won't make it sentimental, will you? Brad Hoffmeyer's son got up the other day and made some very sentimental remarks about Brad. I didn't like it, and I don't think Brad would have liked it.
I won't get sentimental, Pop.
Good. On the other hand, you won't make any wisecracks, will you?
Oh, Pop.
You have that tendency, Dick. At Mercy's wedding, you and your brother's birthday, you got up and made some very flip remarks about all of us.
I'm sorry, Pop.
Smart guy stuff. Too smart, in my opinion. If you plan to get into that sort of thing, perhaps you'd better not say anything at all.
I won't make any cracks, Pop. I promise.
Thank you, because you love us, don't you?
Yes, Pop.
You love us, you may live 1,000 miles away, you may run off every summer, you may be a terrible letter writer, but you love us all just the same, don't you? You love me.
Oh, yes, Pop. Oh, yes, really.
Fine. Now at the graveside, just family, I want to be buried beside my brothers and below my mother. And father, leave room for your mother to lie beside me if she marries again. Still leave room, she'll come back at the end.
All right, Pop.
Invite people back here after the burial. Stay close to your mother. She gets nervous at any kind of gathering and makes bad decisions. For example, don't let her serve any of the good Beefeater's gin. If people simply want to mix it with tonic water, and when they're gone, sit with her. Stay in the house, don't leave for a few days, please.
I promise, Pop.
Annie the maid from the first scene, now quite old, adds candlesticks and a lovely flower centerpiece to the table.
And that's my funeral. I'm leaving you this room, you know, and after your mother dies, the table and the chairs to you. It's the best thing I can leave you by far.
Thanks, Pop.
Annie exits into the kitchen.
Now we'll rejoin your mother.
He gets slowly up to his feet.
I'll put this envelope in the safe deposit box on the top of my will, and the stock certificates. This key will be in my left bureau door. You didn't see the purple finch feeding its young.
Yes, I did, Pop.
You saw it while I was talking.
That's right.
Good, I'm glad you saw it.
He goes out slowly. Dick waits a moment, lost in thought, and then replaces the chair. The lights come up on the table, now beautifully set with white linen, crystal goblets, silver candlesticks, flowers, the works. Annie begins to set plates as a hostess, Ruth, comes in from the right.
Oh, Annie, it looks absolutely spectacular.
Thank you, miss.
Ruth, as she begins to distribute place cards carefully around the table.
Now make sure the soup plates are hot.
I always do, miss.
But I think we can dispense with butterballs. Just give everyone a nice square of butter.
I'll do butterballs, miss.
Would you? Oh, how nice. And keep an eye on the ashtrays, Annie. Some people still smoke between courses, but they don't like to be reminded of it.
I know, miss.
And let's see. Oh, yes. Before people arrive, I want to pay you. For you and for Velma in the kitchen. It includes your taxi, so you can both just leave right after you've cleaned up.
Thank you, Mrs.
There's a little extra in yours, Annie. Just as a present. Because you've been so helpful to the family over the years.
Thank you, Mrs.
Oh, now I better check the living room.
Yes, Mrs.
Ruth starts out, right, then stops.
Oh, Annie, I heard some strange news through the grapevine. Mrs. Bellman told me that you won't be available anymore.
No, Mrs.
Not even for us, Annie? We've used you more than anyone.
I'm retiring, Mrs.
Oh, but surely special occasions, Annie. I mean, if we're desperate, can I still reach you at your nephew's?
He's moving away, Mrs.
Oh, but then where will you go? What will you do?
I've got my sister in Milwaukee, Mrs.
But we'll be lost without you, Annie.
You'll manage, Mrs.
But not like this. We'll never match this.
Oh, thank you, Mrs.
Oh, I think I heard the bell.
I'll get it, Mrs.
Women's coats upstairs, men's in the hall closet.
Yes, Mrs.
Annie.
Annie stops. Ruth goes to her and hugs her. Annie responds stiffly.
Thank you, Annie, for everything.
You're welcome, Mrs.
She goes off, right, to answer the door. Ruth goes to the sideboard, gets a book of matches. She lights the 2 candles on the table and speaks to the audience.
Lately, I've been having this recurrent dream. We're giving this perfect party. We have our dining room back and grandmother's silver before it was stolen, and Charlie's mother's royal blue dinner plates before the movers dropped them, and even the finger bowls. Oh, if I knew where they were. And I've invited all our favorite people. Oh, I don't mean just our old friends. I mean everyone we have ever known and liked. That we'd have the man who fixes our Toyota, and that intelligent young couple who bought the Peyton house, and the receptionist at the doctor's office, and the new teller at the bank. And our children would be invited too, and they'd all come back from wherever they are, and we'd have 2 cocktails and hot hors d'oeuvres, and a first-rate cook in the kitchen, and 2 maids to serve, and everyone would get along famously. Oh, my husband laughs when I tell him this dream. Do you realize, he says, what a party like this would cost? Do you realize what we'd have to pay these days for a party like that? Well, I know all that. But sometimes I think it might almost be worth it.
The rest of the cast now spills into the dining room, talking animatedly, having a wonderful time. There is the usual gallantry and jockeying around as people leave the place, cards, and find their seats. The men pull out the women's chairs and people sit down. The host goes to the sideboard where Annie has left a bottle of wine in a silver bucket. He wraps the linen napkin around it and begins to pour people's wine. The conversation flows as well. The lights begin to dim. The host reaches his own seat at the head of the table and pours his own wine. Then he raises his glass.
To all of us.
Everyone raises his or her glass, or their glass. As their glasses go down, the lights fade to black. The table is bathed in its own candlelight. Then the 2 downstage actors unobtrusively snuff the candles out, and the play is over. The end.
Yay.
Yeah. Great
That was an
job.
all right play, I suppose.
Good.
Sadie, I really appreciated your use of hair in your characterizations. It was pretty great.
Let's spice up these Zoom calls.
Saying.
Nice.
Well, I was doing stuff with my hair too. It's just much more subtle.
Yeah.
We've got details right now. We just can't see them.
I think Sam for She Kills Monsters really took the cake for spicing up the Zoom.
Yeah.
How many different props did you have? Like 3, 4?
I had like 4 per night, so.
Excellent.
Hell yes.
Really good.
Cool. Just quick. Donate to things that help people, not things that don't help people. Today we chose the TWOCC, Trans Women of Color Collective. Done them before, we'll do them again, we'll do them forever till things are better, which guess what, they probably never will be because this world is terrifically terrible. So go donate to this. I posted it in the chat. If you're here and you want to donate, please do. TWOCC.us if you are here in the future and you would like to donate. Go do that, as well as come to the discussion on Monday night about this show. I'm sure there's lots to discuss, and Andy does a terrific job of asking terrific questions, as well as, if it sort of calls for it, if it's more respectful for us to do that. Erin has also asked terrific questions, leaving her parts of the discussion. Yeah, come on Monday night if you're here and you didn't read with us. Ask, most of you I think are here for Sam. Ask Sam for the PDF and read it, and then come to the discussion. I think the next sort of piece of business is deciding on our show, which I don't think has changed since earlier today. I believe it is Rumors by Neil Simon. I'm,
Actually has more of a lead than earlier today.
No.
oh, wow.
Excellent.
The choice hasn't changed, but the counts have changed. Still rumors by Neil Simon. I looked it up, and there's 10 characters. So Sam and Sadie, would you like to be involved? No pressure, but if you'd like to.
Yes, pressure.
Yes.
I don't know yet. I'll have to talk to my manager.
Our manager.
Yeah,
She's
I need to
our
talk to our manager as well.
Yeah, we have to talk to our manager.
Cool. Well, yeah, Sadie,
Yeah.
congratulations, you're in.
Whether I'll be available Thursday or Friday, but I will let you know as soon as I.
Excellent.
Yeah. No pressure. We'll put up a thing calling for actors, so just remind us and let us know when you're available. And you know that if we don't hear from you, we'll bug you because we're wonderfully annoying about that.
Yeah.
Possibly twice if we can't find 11 actors and pick a different play.
That's also true. So yeah, rumors this coming Thursday and Friday, if we have enough for both of those nights, and everybody is decided on one night and we don't do the other night, who knows what's going to happen. Life is a gamble. But yeah, anybody else have anything they want to say before I press stop recording?
Thank you. You guys are amazing and wonderful.
Y'all are fantastic. This was wonderful. I can't wait to hopefully see y'all at the discussion.
You guys are really phenomenal wasps too. Just guys.
Seriously.
This play is so waspy.
It's so waspy. Actually, one of my favorite little tidbits was that William H. Macy was part of the original cast of this. He played actor number 3. If you go back to the weird, like the black and white photos in the PDF, he's like super young in this, but it's like this has attracted some pretty interesting people throughout the years. Yeah.
It's also interesting considering everything that's going on with Felicity Huffman.
Yeah.
Huffman, out of the loop.
Felicity
I have no
Huffman's
idea what you're talking about.
wife, and she is part of the college admissions scandal with
Well, that just makes a lot of sense then.
her and Lori Laughlin are people that are serving sentences. I don't think they still are because they're white and famous, and so
They don't belong in the prisons.
I'm pretty sure Felicity Huffman got at least 30 days in jail.
And Becky did too.
Yeah. Lori Laughlin. Yeah. Who knows?
What kind of jail?
Waspy jail.
The jail.
their commissary accounts were
Flush.
yeah, very.
It only had one sauna they had to share.
They had to make finger bowls out of plastic cups.
Wiggling around.
No rose petals in those finger bowls. No.
I really wish I had come with props for that. I used my ghetto. Here's the finger bowl.
Yeah.
Oh well, too late now.
Cool. Well, I'm gonna press stop recording.